Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing? I'm Jenny, and thanks for tuning in as you do. Now, make sure you hit that little subscribe button down there in the corner in order to get content and videos and so on. Now, the next time I'm going live right here on YouTube offering clairvoyant free psychic readings, set your clocks and your dials, everyone, because that is going to be on March the 1st, Saturday. Like, oh my gosh, March, right? So make sure you tune in at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern, or 11 a.m. Pacific in order to ask me a question. What does your ancestors want you to know? What information, what messages are coming through for spirit and from spirit just for you? So make sure you tune in. I'm just saying. Now, this week's cosmic events, like what's happening daily, like what can you expect daily, how can we really work through things? So I'm going to talk about the events from the 15th to the 21st to let you guys know what's happening. Now the 15th, so how many of you guys spent Valentine's Day with someone special, or what did you do? Like, we don't need to have that certain special someone in order to celebrate. You can celebrate yourself, for goodness sakes, right? Don't push anything, don't force anything. Buy a little chocolate, have a little bit of flowers, treat yourself to something, like whatever works for you. Some people are like, yeah, Jenny, I go to the spa every year on Valentine's Day. Like, how awesome would that be? Right? I mean, I'd like to be at a spa like somewhere like over in Europe, one of those really amazing spas, right? I mean, there's amazing spas anywhere, of course, right? Now, the 15th and the 16th of February, let's talk about this because I'm going to give you insights into like your zodiac signs as well, what you might be feeling these certain days and so on and so on. And then you're going to be like, oh, okay. But it helps you work through and understand more. Like certain days, like our emotions are high, like full moons. And so we have this eclipse season coming up. Oh my gosh. And this is a universal 9 year as well, you guys. So this is all about making more long-term plans. I mean, I've just recently confirmed that I'm going to be making more long-term plans with something different. I'm going to be heading in a whole different direction. That's right. So we get signs from the universe, especially when certain things aren't working, and also pay attention to things that are working for you. Like sometimes we're like, wow, should I have done this or should I have done that? Look at where you are now. Sometimes we have to go to a place or have a relationship or to take a job or whatever it is to say, you know what, I thought I wanted that, but it's just not what I wanted. It's not what the direction I want to go, or this just isn't working. Like I have a very toxic neighbor here, right? So I'm going to be doing my long distance move. So that is more of like a long term goal because I'm stuck in a lease right now. So, the universe shows us signs that it's like, what is working? Like, really, really, really pay attention. That's why I'm really putting a lot of emphasis on this. There's a lot of changes happening in the world and so on. There's going to be some kind of unsettling things, but what's new, right? You'll have to watch my predictions video. So now the 15th, as I mentioned, 15th, 16th, don't rush anything. You could be like, what? Let me take a look at what's working, what's not working, as I mentioned. Now, if you are like an Aquarius, you are going to find that you could have a lot more breakthroughs, like a lot more breakthroughs. You could be like, oh my gosh, right? Like I just put my project up, or I just got that job, or if it's a health situation, like no matter what it is, right? You're going to find that, you're going to have some more leeway with breakthroughs with certain situations. Leo, like we can have that passion and so on. And it's really important to balance the thoughts. Like whenever we're higher in emotions, let's say, we can be like, you know what, I'm going to do this and that, which we can. Of course, you can make a decision at any time. However, let's balance things out. Let's look at things rationally. And then you can pre-plan things. But if you're a Scorpio, do you know what's going to happen? You're going to be navigating through things. You're going to be navigating more through some very powerful situations, and as we navigate towards those powerful, like situations, Scorpio transformation, what can I say, right? That could be a really, really good day for you. Now with Taurus, I mean, you have noticed that, I got to make some changes with my career, with my business. So again, pay attention to what's working and what wasn't working. So you might be like, I got to like kind of tweak this around a little bit more, or maybe I'm going to be like, what, I'm completely leaving my job, right? But we have seen these signs, and so on and so on. So Gemini and Libra, you might actually find that you're going to be a lot more inspired. You could be like, this is really awesome. I'm more inspired with my work. I've made some amazing professional connections. Maybe I'm going to reach out to that person that could help me network, that could help me move forward with this or that, right? So Aries and Sag, passion, fire, and so on and so on and so on. So you're going to find that you could make more like logical goals. Like I'm always talking about making long-term goals and short-term goals. Short-term goals are really important too. Like I make short-term goals and long-term goals, right? Like I'm starting to sell certain things and such like that myself, that I don't need anymore. I drop off stuff all the time at different locations, if it's shelters or, wherever is what's needed. But certain items, I'll be like, what, I just want to sell this a little bit. So I'm going to give certain things a week. And if not, I'm going to donate it. Right. So you're going to find that you're going to be making more practical approaches towards your goals. Patience is the key. If you're Capricorn or Cancer, you're going to find that you're going to be detaching a lot more. You're going to find that you're going to be detaching a lot more personally, let's say. So there could be certain people in your life, if it's relationships, you could be like, what, I got to set some boundaries. I'm just not on the same page as that person anymore. Maybe I've just entered into a new relationship and I have to let certain people go. Like whatever it is, but there's going to be a lot of detachment that day, right? And it can get a little bit emotional. Like it can get a lot more emotional. I have to let this person go, no matter how hard it is, or maybe I have to, leave my job, right? Like, where you're going and what you have to do. Where if you're a Pisces or a Virgo, you're going to have solutions to your problems. Like, how awesome is that, right? So when we overprocess and overthink, of course, what happens? We're not seeing clarity. So, but you're going to find, wow, like I'm finding solutions now. Maybe you've been stuck with certain things. Well, I just can't figure this out, or why is this not working? Boom. All of a sudden you're going to be like, that's why. Maybe I was looking the opposite direction and now I'm seeing a lot more clarity. So how awesome is that? Like we all get affected in our own way and so on, right? We really do. So it's how we go about certain situations. And, I always observe, like things and everything. And, if I'm looking at making decisions, let's say, I'll do some research on it and say, does that feel right? Or I'm not sure. Let's just circle this. Let me look into that a little bit more, and just really start writing down what's the good and the not so good, right? Nothing's perfect. Like there's no such thing as perfect in any way, shape, or form, and you're going to find that you're going to want to feel more of your worth this week as well. When you know your worth, the universe will help you step forward. Well, I don't know if I can do that or not, right? Sometimes we just have to jump into something. There's risk takers out there. I mean, I'm a risk taker. I jump into the unknown. I take risks. It's like, and I'm not sure, but, I'm going to give it a go and see what happens. Sometimes we have to do that in order to see, is this working for me or is this not working for me anymore? I mean, even before I moved to my location for a while, there was always something telling me there's something not right. But I'm like, I'm just going to go for it anyways. It came up, all of these things. And I'm like, I had to get out of my last place and move on. Right. But yet the intuition was saying, I don't know, there's something off. Oh my God, don't even get me started. Right. But we have to go through these processes and situations to say, wow, and that's with a relationship, that's with a job, that's with anything. So you're going to be going through this even more and more and more this year, because this is a universal 9 year, which is all about completion, endings. Endings can be with anything, like absolutely anything. So when you're like, how am I going to do this? Write it down. Don't panic. Don't force it. Just say, okay, oh, take a breath. Just like, oh my God, write it down. Just start writing down things and start, looking at things a little bit more realistically, you guys, because what you're not working through or changing now, when this eclipse comes up, like, oh my God, the eclipse, expect the unexpected, right? That's not today, but that full moon was expect the unexpected. I had a flood in here unexpectedly and so on. I was about to go out and I heard this. What the heck? Upstairs, poof, water, poof, down. There we go, right? So it happens. But the eclipses can do certain things like that to say, you know what? You haven't made changes with this, or you're not paying attention. We're going to step in. The universe steps in and makes that change for you. So if you're like, okay, I know I can't do this right now, but I'm pre-planning the long-term goals. That's why I keep bringing that up. So it's like, okay, I know I have to make this change. Sometimes it can be something very quick. That's a short time goal, right? But it's like, okay, I can't do that today or next month or next couple of months. However, I can start doing the research. Like if it's a class you want to take, it like no matter what it is, I can start looking at this right now and I can start making those changes. That's what's important. Taking one step every day, because what you do on a day-to-day basis, it really determines your future. It really does, right? But things will also start to lighten up a little bit this week as well. So that's why it's important to surrender. It's like, thank you, Spirit, for showing me. Like, I'll ask for signs from Spirit. Give me a sign about this, no matter if it's the good, the bad, or the ugly. So I want to see it. So that's what I was doing. And I've been getting them. Believe me, I've been getting them. So I'm like, okay, well, it's interesting. Let's just put it that way. However, now the 17th and the 18th, we're officially in Pisces season, you guys. How many of you are out there are Pisces? Happy birthday. Pisces are very, very intuitive. You're going to be reflecting a lot those 2 days. You're going to be wanting to connect more with people you really resonate, like your soul tribe. I know a lot of people, and I mean, it doesn't mean I talk to them every day. There's certain people that I haven't talked to for a long time. My life is busy, their life is busy, whatever. And then all of a sudden you start talking to them and it's like, wow, I felt like I was just talking to you yesterday. So you're going to find that you're going to be reaching out to more people and so on. And this is the time to really be patient these next couple of days on the 17th and the 18th. And you're also going to find that there's some certain family dynamics and situations that you're going to want to even resolve more. Any situation, can be like, go either way, right? But it's how we handle it. It's how we deal with certain things. When we want to push somebody's buttons, we can, but there's consequences. So, sometimes, like I said, I observe things and I'm like, if I said this, it's going to set that off. Do I really want to go through that? No. So sometimes I just say nothing. What should I do with this? I'm not sure. So sometimes it's just, you can give a little bit of advice and such, but if you already know that that person is going to attack you, no matter what you say, why bother? It doesn't matter who it is. So situations can be a little bit tricky. Really listen to your intuition. I like to keep the peace as much as I can. And whenever my peace gets disturbed, I'm like, you know what, I got a problem with that. It's like my move here. It's been constant issues, right? So that was that intuition that told me before, don't move there. And I'm like, oh my God, but it's the place I wanted. Don't move there. But I have to move. Don't move there. Where am I going to go? Don't move there, right? So this is how we learn. This is how we're like, okay, well, at least I know I did that. And it's just not the place I'm supposed to be at, you know? And sometimes things we still have the leftovers of last year, which can also, because the year of the snake, things coming in and moving, and we still have leftovers from January and February that we're dealing with from 2024. So, there could be some yuckiness right now that needs to clear to get out of the way so you can move on. And that can happen. That can happen. It's like, okay, well, they've removed these toxic people. They've like resolved these issues, whatever it is. So now things are okay. That can happen. So that's why it's like, don't make any panic choices, right? Don't make any final decisions. However, pay attention to what's going on, relationship-wise, job, career, doesn't matter. Now on the 17th and 18th, so you're going to find that Pisces, you're going to be a lot more creative. So really pay attention to, what do I want to change, or what do I want to work on? Really pay attention to that, because that's when your creativity is really going to come out a lot more, and so on. So Virgo, you're going to have to balance your emotions a little bit. We all have our bad and good and ugly days, right? Balancing the emotions, like don't panic, everything's going to be fine. Take that breath back, observe, balance the emotions and so on. If you're Gemini or Sag, you actually might feel a little bit more confused about situations. This is when it's like you need to surrender and stop trying to force anything or control anything. The only thing, this is for everybody. The only person we have any control over is yourself. No one else and nothing else. So it's like when something's not working, you're the only thing and person and situation that can make changes happen. Changes can be scary, like we've had enough changes in our world as it is, and as we can see, there's a lot of ugliness going on, even more and more and more and more in the world. A lot of truth, so on and so on and so on. Don't get me going. Right? That's another video altogether, but it's negative, so I don't want to do it. So Cancer and Scorpio that day, you're going to be feeling like more optimistic with things. You could be feeling, I feel a lot more grounded. I'm more optimistic about where I'm at, or what direction I want to go at, which is really, really good. So Aries and Leo, you might find you're not grounded that day. Right? You're going to be like, oh my God. And I would say, again, don't push, don't control. Just observe, 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 observe. Because the more anybody seriously tries to push anything or force anything, it's not going to work in your favor. It's like, okay, I get it, right? So take a look at what's going on right now and just say, I got to make changes, right? Change is the key word, for everybody. Circle that. Now, Capricorn and Taurus, you're also going to be a lot more creative. I just actually heard, as I heard Capricorn, by the way, I'm actually hearing like there's some more recognition coming for you as well. And also Taurus. So if there's been like a work or project that you've been working on, you're going to find that you're going to start getting more recognition and so on and so on, and even more creative. You could, be working on a project and like, oh my God, I want to go this direction now, or maybe I want to add this on and so on and so on. So just write it down. You don't need to worry about all the details, how I'm going to get there and when. You start writing down what you're hearing. And then you can go back and like, yeah, now I want to add this into my story. Now I want to add this into my film. Now I want to add this into my website, or like, like whatever, right? Aquarius and Libra, you're going to find that you're going to want to really connect with more people even deeper as well. You're going to be like, this person is authentic. This person is real. I can really be myself around this person. That's like my soul tribe. Like your soul tribe will accept you unconditionally. They truly will. Nobody's perfect, of course not, right? But if there's certain situations, that let's say if I needed to talk to somebody, there's certain people I would not even ever go to, where those people that I would not ever go to for like, let's say advice, I could, contact them for just different reasons. I have a friend, just to give you an example. And when I need some more solid grounding, she's very blunt and to the point. And I like that with her. Um, I'm not going to mention names, of course, but she's out there with a lot of experience with things, and she's very much around the legal system and everything. So it's like boom, and I'm like, yes, exactly what I need. So there's certain people that were like, I just need a hug from you, or just to touch bases. So soul tribes will always accept you unconditionally, of course, and you know who your people are. Like, do you know what I mean? And don't ever judge anybody. Like, please don't ever judge anybody. If it's like, God, that person, I don't want to go around them, or just like my toxic neighbor, I'm not judging them. It's just like, I'm not going to be a part of that. I'm not going to get involved with that person. I wish them the best and whatever it is they're going through, but it's just time for me to move on from that or not, or you know what I mean? Certain things like that. Right. But I always call in spirit, please help that person, no matter who they are or even what they've done to me. Because what karma you send out to others, it can come back to you. So you got to be really, really careful. Right. Now, the 19th and the 20th of February, you're going to be finding that you're going to want to be healing yourself a lot more. Breathe in, breathe out. You're going to want to nurture yourself a lot more. You're going to also, if you start reflecting back, you're going to say, wow, have I ever grown? Our experiences shape you into who you are, of course. And as you have been reflecting and letting go, I'll do that. Let's say I'll reflect back on certain circumstances and so on and so on and say, wow, have I ever grown, or have I ever evolved, or wow, I actually didn't think I'd be able to handle that or go through that. And I did. So there's a lot of growth right now. And you're going to want to be experiencing, a lot more love in your life, and love can be number one, yourself. If you want someone else to love and accept you unconditionally, you have to love and accept yourself first unconditionally in order to have that person love you back unconditionally. So you might be like, I need a day for me. I need a spa day. I got to set boundaries, like whatever it is, right? Or I know my worth even more. And I'm not going to accept that job or whatever it is, right? As a lot of changes are going on and on and on in the world, um, don't even get me going. I'm not even going to talk about that. There's going to be a lot of changes of careers and stuff like that, and so on. So whenever you're looking at a career, make sure that it's something that you enjoy or passionate about. Sometimes, yes, we do have to take a job that we're like, I don't want to do that, but I have to do that. I want to be able to work through that and so on, right? So it's important to do that. So you might even find that you're going to want to start pre-planning travel opportunities. You could be like, maybe I want to travel here or there. Maybe I want to be a travel agent. Maybe I want to work in the travel industry, or maybe I want to book that flight, where there's certain places that, I look at to where I want to go. I will do my research on it because I always travel alone, right? So I will take a look at, okay, accommodations, location, like just everything, like literally everything, right? So you might find you've been doing that even more and more and more right now. Even where I'm looking at moving to, I've been doing research on these places for a few years now, right? And monitoring things and so on and so on and so on. So it's don't be hard on yourself if you feel you've made the wrong choice, because that's how we learn if this is the right thing for us to do or if it's not, right? So don't ever be hard on yourself, right? You might find that you could have even a lot more family conversations that day as well. The 19th and the 20th, maybe it's like, that long overdue with a family member, or you know what I mean? I have to talk to them, or like whatever it is. So it's going to be wrapped more around family conversations. Maybe it's that conversation where you get that call that you have to prepare yourself for a family's health situation, or maybe you have to make a decision concerning something about a family member, like it's all family connected and so on. Now, if you're Sagittarius on that day, you're going to want to devote yourself to something even more deeper, like even something more deeper. You're going to want to be a lot more independent. Sagittarius are pretty independent, of course, but you're going to be like, I'm going to devote myself. I'm going to sign up for this, or I've made a decision and I'm going to devote myself to this person or whatever it is. You're Gemini, you could be making some changes in partnerships, let's say. If it's business partnerships, it could very well be like a contract. It could be with your person, but you're going to be reviewing it even more and more and more and say, is this not working for me anymore? Maybe it's just time for me to walk away from it. Or maybe it's time for me to take that next step and find somebody different to help me with business. Or maybe my partner that I'm with, maybe I want to actually have a partnership more so with them, to create a business together with them. Maybe it's like, I'm taking a look at making a more serious commitment with them. So partnership can, that's a very open question, but you're going to be reflecting a lot and say, is this really working? Or it's time to take it up and step it up to the next level, right? Just like Virgo and Pisces, you're going to find that day that you're going to be wanting to make more commitments long term with relationships. So you could be like, that could be engagements. Maybe some of you are getting engaged or want to propose to your person. Maybe some of you are like, what? Let's live and move together. Let's move in together. Let's make some adjustments and make this work. Right? So we all handle and deal things differently. Where if you're like a Aries or a Leo, you could be really even looking at, ooh, I've got some excitement going on with my relationship. Maybe things are happening, right? You're going to be like, yeah, I'm getting my groove on, right? Maybe you've reconnected with someone that you haven't talked to in a long time. Excitement with relationships. Maybe it's like, I'm going to go ring shopping today and I'm going to, buy that for my person. And then I'm going to be proposing on these dates and so on and so on. Where if you're a Capricorn or Taurus, you might be feeling a little bit unsettled that day, like a little bit unsettled of, oh my gosh, did I make the right decision? Like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I don't know about this, all of that kind of stuff. So whenever we're like undecided, take that step back and just say, okay, breathe. Let me just examine everything, the good and the bad and the ugly and so on and so on. Let me just try to come to terms with things even more and more and more, right? Libra and Aquarius, you're looking at things in a whole different level, a different perspective altogether. It's like, I'm really looking at this differently now. I'm looking at this situation with more open eyes. It's really important to, pay attention to certain things that are going around. Maybe I should make that change. Maybe whatever it is, right? I'm not going to go on and on and on because you know very well what is going on that day. So you're going to find if you're Cancer, Scorpio, you very well could be having a lot more struggles that day. You could be wanting a lot more, you know what, I'm feeling really tied down. I'm feeling really, really restricted. Wow, I just need some freedom. Maybe you're feeling that your person is a little bit too needy. Maybe you're feeling your job is a little too restrictive. Like whatever it is, you're gonna not want to be restricted anymore, right? You're gonna be like, oh, I just want my freedom. Maybe your relationship isn't working anymore. Maybe your job, you've had enough. Like, you know what I mean? Like whatever it is, restrictions can be many different things, many, many, many different things. So it will definitely be an interesting week. Where on the 21st, even, you're going to find that it very well could be a lot more connected around like education pursuits. You could be like, I'm going to be more walking into the unknown. I'm going to be taking more risks. I'm going to sign up for that class. I'm going to go back to college. I'm going to go back to school. I want to start reading those study books. This is a day when you're going to be like, I need some space. I need some time for me. I really need to get that clarity. And that's really important, like just sometimes all we need is those confirmations that we're on the right path, no matter how challenging it is, no matter if we're like, is this not the right path for me? You could be on the right path and going through a lot of difficulties right now and thinking that's just not my path. And sometimes we have to break that ice and clear the road that's going on right now in order to be like, oh, wow, issues are now resolved. Maybe some of you have just had surgery and such like that, and you're like, wow, oh, I can't believe I actually went through that. However, now you're on the road to healing. And then when you look back on that, you're going to be like, wow, how magical was that we experienced that. So we can now create our life together even more, and so on and so on and so on. Right? So it will be a very interesting week for sure, you guys. Now, I'm going to pull a couple of cards to see what the collective has to say. I don't use cards when somebody books a reading with me because I'm a clairvoyant psychic medium. But I always say we. Jeni, what do you say we? And because when I say we, it's because I get messages 24/7 from the spirit world, like literally. So there's always some energies around me. Like I have literally been seeing somebody on my sofa. I haven't seen the face yet because normally whenever I see him, he's somebody in the spirit world. He's got a beige. He's wearing beige and brown patches. It's a male energy, and he's holding a book. And I know what the message is for him. I really do. So I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. But I know where he's going. So this is your completions, as I said. Some of us are leaving the planet. There is actually going to be a lot of people leaving the planet this year. Who knows? Maybe I'll be one of them. Depends on. I'm not saying that, but you don't know. We'll see what my results are from my surgery. But anyways, we're not going there. We have to think positive. So let's talk to the cards, as I mentioned. Like I'm also an animal communicator, by the way. So I talk to animals that have passed on and your animals that are here present. So I have a lot of different animal decks, of course. When I see an animal deck, I'm like, oh yeah. So this card here, Power Animal, Oracle cards from Stephen Farmer. There's a little coyote. Coyote, by the way, represents deceit. But anyways, pay attention. So let's see what the energy from our animal kingdom has to say. What can we expect? What's their message from the 15th to the 21st? And make sure you guys clear your decks before you start to use them. By the way, I've cleared all these decks. I'm actually selling and getting rid of a lot of my tarot decks and books. I've actually donated quite a bit. Donated. Holy smoke, so many. Okay. All right. So if you live in Calgary and you're looking for tarot decks, they're still like brand new. No, I'm selling them. I might have donated them all by then too, by the way. So if you're interested, send me a message. I'm giving away like or selling them by like package deals because I have so many. The spirit world of the animals wants to know. Oh wow, how cool is that? How cool is that? The dolphin, playfulness. Take time to play. Always take time to play. Always take time for yourself. Do things that make you happy, right? When was the last time you listened to your inner child and you went out there and started having a lot of fun? When was the last time you guys did that? You know, like I got a really warped sense of humor at times, for those of you who know me. So you got to have fun. You got to start enjoying life. You know, like maybe your inner child needs to color. Maybe your inner child needs to go out in a playground. Maybe, you know, like whatever it is, right? So pay attention to that. Really pay attention to that. Alrighty then, let me just see. And because we're still in the heart center, you should always be in the heart center, always. Even when you're going through a hard time or a breakup, let's say. Keep your heart open. You know, when somebody's caused you pain, the first thing, you know, we naturally do is to close our heart. I don't want to experience that. It's too painful. However, if you want to heal from these situations, it's really important to keep your heart open so you can heal through it. Or else it'll come back up. It won't go away. You won't heal. So let's talk to John Holland's Psychic Tarot for the Heart deck. Let's have a chat with him. Well, his cards and what the spirit world has to say for us. 15th of 21st. 15th of the 21st. Message. 15th of the 21st. Confront. Yes, yes, yes. Confront these issues. We cannot run from situations. We cannot. We can't. You know, what happens is, oh, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go there, or I'm going to go on a vacation, or I'm just going to sweep it under the rug. It's going to come up. And especially with this eclipse season coming up, the eclipse seasons are intense, hugely expecting unexpected, right? So what you haven't resolved, what you're running from, the universe has a tendency to boom, step in. And you're going to be like, wow, that's a rude awakening. Like, oh my God, those are shocking events, expecting unexpected with the eclipse energy. So it's like, okay, are you working towards this to resolve this or to heal this or to end this? Like whatever it is. So if you are doing that, you know, things will be better. But if you're running from situations, it's going to hit you really hard. Oh, I have to end that relationship with that person, Jeni. They're so toxic or whatever. If you don't by then, if you don't, things can get really bad, right? It's always important to have a heart-to-heart talk with someone and you know, be real. Just keep it real, be truthful. You know, like no matter what it is, if you have to confront your boss, if you have to confront your person, like whatever it is, you know, wait till you're calm. Don't have that conversation when you're like, oh my God, I'm so like emotions are high, because then you can say things that you regret. And then you're like, oh my God, right? So that's why it's best to, okay, let me calm down first, go for a walk, do a workout, you know, like listen to music, like whatever it is, right? You know that what helps you calm down. Make sure you're calm first and like, you know what? I really have to confront this. Maybe you have to confront yourself. Maybe you have to confront yourself with certain habits or patterns that you're struggling with. And you're like, you know what? I really need help with this. I'm out of control. No matter what it is, you can confront yourself. Be gentle. Be gentle. This is a week too where you're going to want to be showing more compassion towards yourself. Like don't be hard on yourself. Good mistakes. We all make mistakes. And the blessing is with mistakes is you learn from it. You learn from it. That's how you grow. And there's going to be a lot of growth this week. You guys look back, like really look back. You're going to say, wow, have I ever grown? Like, I don't feel like it. You know, we all go through that, right? But look back over last year at this time to see where you are now, right? So let's have a talk with the portals. The Oracle of Portals by Tess Whitehurst. There we go. There we go. So I have Ganesh in the background here. Ganesh helps you through your obstacles as well. I have like a huge Ganesh statue in my place. It's so heavy. Like it's like cement. It's so heavy. I have a few of them. But anyways, that's another story. 15th to the 21st. What's the message? Like, let me know what's going on with you guys. You know, like if you like want to make comments, feel free to make some comments. Let me know what's going in. Like my video. It really helps. Really appreciate it. Okay. Who's all going to be tuning in live and getting a clairvoyant reading? Some insights from the spirit world. But Jeni, what are you going to say? Well, I have no idea. I ask people that. Well, what are you going to say? Well, I don't know. I stay in the moment and I'm like, okay, what messages are for this person? Right? I don't know what's coming up. How would I know? Okay. 15th of February to the 21st. What's the message? And really be persistent with your goals, whatever it is, like whatever it is, God, I screwed up my goal, Jeni. Okay, stop right there. Give yourself some love and compassion. Take another breath. Every second is a new second to start, right? Every day is a new day. It's a new beginning. New beginnings can happen at any seconds. So don't be hard on yourself. Excuse me. 15th to the 21st. Like I'm hard on myself right now. I am. Like I should have listened to my inner voice if not to move here. But I was just like, oh my God, but this is the place I want it. Maybe it'll all work out. I had to get out of the last place. So we have that argument with ourselves, right? As I'm looking out my window right now, I can see the snow coming in and I'm like, really? But it's winter. We're in Canada, right? For those of you who have winter season, you know. Anyways, mastery. Mastery. So be a master. Do you know that a master has failed more times than anybody else? How are you going to make this happen or that happen or whatever? Sometimes we have to fail a few times before, Walt Disney, right? Walt Disney, he went bankrupt 3 times before he made his millions. So don't ever give up. This is how we learn lessons. It's like, oh, why didn't I do that? Or I wish I would have done that. Or why couldn't have this happened? Or no matter what it is, right? Keep moving forward. God, I wished stop with that. It's like, okay, well, now you know that didn't work. Well, I created this and this business. And so look at Anthony Robbins, once upon a time ago, I'm not going to go on about it, but I've connected with Anthony many, 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 many moons ago before he was famous. Right. And look where he is now. Look where he is now. He has failed many times, but he keeps getting up. He keeps pushing forward, So if you want to really make something happen, sometimes, yeah, we have to make a few mistakes. Sometimes we have to move to a few different locations to be like, that's it. Right? I'm just saying. So keep moving forward. Stay positive. Stay very positive no matter what. Like every morning I wake up, no matter what's going up and going on. I'm up at early hours in the morning because of this toxic neighbor waking me up from her screaming and yelling. So some mornings I'm up at 3 a.m. Right? So how can you get back to sleep? Nobody's doing nothing about it. But I will say to myself, it's going to be a really good day, no matter what's happening. And it's just another sign you're not in the right place, right? So we have to go through certain situations in our crises because that can take you to your destiny. That can take you to where you're supposed to be, right? Saying, so you got to try to trust the process no matter what and really pay attention to the signs. Now, subscribe to the channel for goodness sakes. Click that little button down there, like the video, make some comments, let me know what's going on with you guys. And how many of you going to tune in and join me live on my free live reading here on YouTube on Saturday, March the 1st? Namaste.